You see, I try my best not to talk about Shatta Wale. But it seems like Shatta Wale cannot stop talking about people. Yes, he can't stop talking about his colleagues. Anytime Shatta Wale, you talk about Stonebwoy or you talk about Sarkodie in a disrespectful manner, I will have to come out and defend them. Because you always claim that people are talking bad about you. So I don't know why you can't keep people's name out of your mouth. Every day. And the fans are the ones that I can't understand. So when this guy goes out there and talk about people, what do you say? Can't you guys tell him to stop talking about people if he doesn't want to be talked about? Well, if he keeps talking about them, we're going to talk about him. All right? Okay, so Shatta Wale is still in Kumasi. He granted an interview on a podcast. All right? Beautiful interview. Now, Shatta Wale was asked a question, a simple question that had nothing to do with where Stonebwoy lived, why Stonebwoy is the way they are, the way he is, why Sarkodie is the way he is. See, and all of a sudden, Shatta Wale goes on about how Sarkodie grew up in a zongo, in a bungalow, in basically trying to say that Sarkodie grew up in a compound house, in a place. He's trying to say that he comes from poverty. And the same as Stonebwoy. He is claiming that he doesn't understand why Sarkodie and them wants to comport themselves and they wants to act all classy. They come from the ghetto. So why are they acting all classy? He's the one who is a DB. He's the one coming from a rich home. He himself, and he's not claiming to act like a posh person. So why are these two acting like that? You see, this is Shatta Wale's problem. This is why Shatta Wale cannot leave Sarkodie and Stonebwoy alone on how they portray themselves. What you see in Sarkodie and Stonebwoy, that is how Shatta's parents wanted him to be. They wanted Shatta to be proper, be respectful, be professional. That's how they wanted him to be. Now, he didn't want that. So he decided to go on the streets. So every time he sees Stonebwoy and Sarkodie being praised for how they carry themselves, it takes him back to when his dad was on his neck trying to get him to straighten his act. Because I don't know why you are so infatuated with the way these two people carry themselves. I don't get it. You have chosen to be ghetto. You have chosen to relate to the ghetto. So why don't you leave Sarkodie and Stonebwoy to be who they are? He went ahead to say that Sarkodie is coming from the ghetto. So how come he does not relate with the ghetto? My brother, it is a stupid idea to come from the ghetto and want to go back to the ghetto. The whole idea is for people to leave the ghetto and get a better life. So when I hear people talk about being given credit for living in the ghetto, it does not make sense. The same people who praise you, Shatta Wale is in the ghetto. Those same people, when they get a chance, they will rob you. Oh yes, somebody in the ghetto, they will rob you. Shatta Wale, if you really love the streets and the ghetto like that, the ghetto where you grew up, after you left your parents, where you went to stay, I'm sure you can afford that place. Why don't you go and break that whole place down and build your mansion there and live in a ghetto? Sarkodie is coming from maybe nothing. He's trying to make a better life for himself. This is the lifestyle he wants to live. He doesn't want to be going around like a hooligan. He wants to be respected. He doesn't want to be looked at anyhow. He doesn't want a politician to look at him and be like, oh, hey, let's find something small for that musician. No, he wants to be respected for his craft. You are upset because who Sarkodie and Stonebwoy is, that is what your parents wanted you to be. So every time you see them, it takes you back to your childhood. And that's when you get triggered. And that's why I say you need a therapist, because you have issues that you need to deal with, childhood trauma. Yes, we all do, but it seems like we don't want to deal with our issues. Growing up, the way our parents dealt with us, all the things that we experienced, we all have trauma. But the only problem is that when we black people get money, instead of using that money to work on our mental health, we don't. We think material things can fix all the problems. No, my brother. You will leave your Lamborghini outside. You will leave your Rolls Royce outside. You will leave your G-Wagon outside. When you are inside in the room, you are there with your brain. The brain that suffered from that childhood trauma. So Shatta Wale, leave those people alone. Leave them out of your mouth. Okay? And deal with your own life. Deal with your own life. These two people that you are talking about, you are always on Sarkodie's neck. Sarkodie, who is coming, you say he's coming from a broken home or he's coming from a poor home. Sarkodie has had the same people on his team, Angel and Black Nana, because of his reasoning, because of how he deals with situations. You don't have conflict resolution skills. Anytime there's a problem, you just angrily act. So people will always leave your camp. You've sacked the militants. Deportee left. Bulldog left. Whether you sack them or whatever. But everyone is leaving you. So who is the problem? You must be the problem. I think you actually need to sit down and emulate Sarkodie. You need to look at Sarkodie as a role model. You need to model your life after Sarkodie. You actually want to be like Sarkodie, but you can't. You cannot be like Sarkodie. Where you have chosen, that's where you fit. I respect you for that. No one is asking you to be anybody else, but allow Sarkodie and Stonebwoy to be who they are. They never talk about you. Why do you always want to talk about them? What is the problem? And now what can rainbow for the home? What is the problem? Come on, Shatta Wale. Stop talking about these people. And it's very disrespectful for you to go on platforms and when you are asked a serious question, instead of you to keep it 100 and for you to stick to the facts and give them a proper answer, you always find ways to goof around. Always goofing. You guys can check all his interviews. Every time he's asked a question, he will begin to answer the question and all of a sudden he goes south. All of a sudden he will just switch and make a joke out of it because he doesn't want to give you the answer. The real answer will eat him up. So he always finds ways to dodge. Please, the fans, I know you guys want me to stop talking about Shatta Wale, but I can only stop talking about him when he stops talking about other people. All right? One when you say Edini and Wani Jebi Mogul, this is the Mogul platform, this is the Mogul View. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, all right? I always keep it 100. Peace.